So I think one of the key drivers we've seen over the last year has been the need for more agility within the fraud marketplace. We've talked a little bit in the past about specificity of fraud, whether that's specificity in terms of verticals, whether we're looking at retail banks or um, commercial and investment banks. But now I think we're also looking at the ability to adapt to specificity. So when fraud changes appear, how quickly are financial institutions and by extension, the vendors that work with them able to account for those changes? How quickly can a solution accommodate for a change in its fraud environment? The anti-fraud community, I think, has always been very broad in terms of how we at Chartis look at it. There's always been a wide number of firms in the space, and I don't think that's changed over the last year. We still see a great many firms, whether they're focused on analytics or workflow or identity verification or any number of different capabilities. We still see a lot of different firms in the space. One of the things that I think we have seen is scale is becoming a big factor within the vendors that we look at. Many of them have built out their capabilities from those initial personae as starting points. You know, IDV vendors have built out their case management, analytics firms have folded in more data sources. So I think we've seen more firms with bigger, growing their client bases and also growing the size and impact of their solutions. So I think there's a couple of things that we're looking out for. Firstly, we're going to be looking a little bit more at the responsibilities of institutions with regards to fraud and how this is expanding over time. Uh, One of the more complicated questions in this space is, when does a institution have to reimburse a customer for a fraud? That might be a very clear-cut case in terms of like a payment card fraud. It might be less so in terms of a scam. So we're certainly going to be looking at that in a little more detail. Also, we want to track things like the usage of large language models in enterprise fraud, not just from the perspective of the vendors who are using them, but also from the perspective of fraudsters. We expect in terms of things like phishing scams, as these kind of technologies become more widely available, they are not going to be deployed, asynchronously on the side of the vendors only. They are going to be deployed by fraudsters as well. So that kind of arms race is one we're going to be keeping an eye on.